Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a piece of software that's trying to completely shatter our idea of what a digital canvas can be. It's called Black Ink, and trust me on this, it is not just another painting program.
So, let me just ask you something. When you sit down to create art on your computer, are your tools, well, are they just trying to be a digital version of a pen and paper? For most of them, the answer is yeah, probably. But what if a tool wasn't trying to imitate reality at all? What if it was built from the ground up to be something completely different?
All right, so here's the plan. We're going to start by talking about why we should even question our digital tools in the first place. Then, we'll officially meet Black Ink and get into its whole philosophy. After that, we'll check out its pretty unique node system, see what artists actually think, the good and the bad, and wrap it all up by answering that one big question. Should you try it?
Okay, so let's get right into it and start by, questioning the status quo. For decades, right? The main goal for digital art software has been to imitate the real world as closely as possible. But you have to wonder, does that actually limit what we can create?
I mean, really think about it. Your Photoshops, your Clip Studio paints, they've all gotten so good at mimicking real-world stuff like watercolor, oil paint, charcoal, you name it. And that's amazing, no question. But the people behind Black Ink, they asked a different question. They asked, instead of just imitating what already exists, what new things can a computer generate? Things that would be totally impossible in the real world.
So, how does that whole philosophy actually translate into the tool itself? Well, this is where it gets interesting, because we're not just talking about a few new features here. We're talking about a completely different approach to creating art on a computer.
Okay, so this is pretty much their mission statement, and the keywords you really gotta latch onto here are non-realistic and generative. The whole point isn't to help you paint a mountain that looks like an oil painting. Nope. The goal is to give you the tools to create something that could only exist inside a computer, and hopefully spark some totally new ideas while you're at it.
And this, right here, this perfectly shows that big divide in thinking. On one side, you've got imitation, mastering a medium that we already know. But on the other side, you have inspiration, discovering something brand new just by messing around and experimenting. Black Ink is absolutely a tool that's designed to surprise you.
So, how does it actually do all this crazy stuff? Well, the secret sauce, the real magic, is in its super powerful and flexible system for building your own brushes, completely from scratch.
So instead of just playing with the usual sliders for size and opacity, Black Ink gives you this thing called a node-based editor. Now, I know, that might sound a little intimidating, but the best way to think about it is like building with Legos. Seriously, each node is just a simple block. One block might be react to pen pressure. Another might be scatter the particles. You just connect these blocks together to build these incredibly unique and complex brushes that behave in ways you've literally never seen before.
And what's so cool about this whole system is that it's framed as a creative process, not some technical chore. You're not just editing a tool, you are inventing one. You can sit there and create the most wild, reality-defying brush you can possibly imagine. And then you can even share it with other people. How cool is that?
All right, so that's all the theory, but what's it actually like to use? Let's dive into what real artists who've used Black Ink are saying, and we'll start with what they absolutely love about it.
This quote really gets to the heart of it all. This person says, "The brush feel is so good, I have to recommend it despite the inconveniences. It has great power for concept art." And that says so much, right? Even artists who see the flaws are totally captivated by its main strength. There's just this tangible, satisfying feeling when you use the brushes that makes it an incredible tool, especially for just getting ideas down or doing concept work where those unique textures and effects are everything.
So yeah, it all comes back to that core idea. Artists are just raving about the totally unique brush engine, the insane level of control you get, and its power for just generating new ideas out of thin air. A lot of them really do see it as a peek into what the future of digital art could look like.
But of course, no tool is perfect. And Black Ink's intense focus on one thing means, well, it makes some pretty big compromises elsewhere. So let's flip the coin and look at some of the frustrations that artists have run into.
And yeah, here's the other side of it. One user put it perfectly. Users of Sci or Photoshop will find this tool very, very uncomfortable. The layer management is also very inconvenient. And that's the thing. If you spent years in industry-standard software, the whole experience can be, well, jarring. Basic stuff that you totally take for granted, like a simple color picker or good layer controls, are either just not there, or they're done in a way that feels completely alien.
So these are the things you hear over and over again. The learning curve is super steep. It's missing a bunch of basic features,
It can be a total resource hog on your system, and get this, even just saving your work as a normal file like a PNG can take a ridiculously long time. That's a huge interruption to your workflow.
Oh, and this is a big one. You can only have about 7 or 8 layers, max. Now, for a lot of digital artists, working with dozens and dozens of layers is just normal. So a hard limit like that could be an absolute deal breaker for certain people and certain styles of art.
And this chart really drives home another key trade-off. All that amazing generative power, well, it comes at a price. Unlike some of those super lightweight tools that can run on pretty much any old laptop, black ink is very dependent on your computer's graphics card, your GPU. So you're going to need a pretty beefy PC to get this thing to run smoothly.
Okay, so we've seen the incredible promise, and we've seen the pretty significant drawbacks. Which brings us to the bottom line, right? Is black ink actually for you?
So here's the final verdict. Black ink is not a Photoshop replacement. Not at all. It's a specialist's tool. If you're an artist who loves to experiment, or you're a concept artist looking for those happy accidents, or maybe you're just feeling kind of stuck creatively, this could be an absolutely amazing addition to your toolkit. But if you need a reliable workhorse for client work, or your computer isn't super powerful, this probably isn't the right fit for you. But you know what? Here's the best part. You don't have to take my word for any of this. Because it's sold on Steam, they have that 2-hour refund policy. So you can literally buy it, play around with it for an hour and a half, and if you hate it, you just get a full refund. It's a completely risk-free way to find out if its particular brand of magic clicks with you.
And that really brings us right back to where we started. This tool, it's more than just software. It's a challenge. It's asking you to completely forget about the limits of the real world. So the final question isn't really about the software. It's about your own creativity. If you aren't limited by reality, what new art could you create? Thanks for joining me on this one.